What you call procrastination is actually an ancient defense system that may see your creative work as a threat. In this video, I'm going to show you how your brain encourages you to procrastinate and how you can get around it for once and for all. So for centuries, we've been told that procrastination is just a character flaw. If someone's procrastinating, they're just not disciplined enough, or they don't have enough willpower. But modern science has shattered that myth completely. We have learned that oftentimes procrastination is none of these things. Instead, it's about emotional protection gone wrong. Your brain may be actually trying to save you from something that it perceives as dangerous. And until you understand how it works and how it thinks and what the danger actually is, you're going to keep being stuck in procrastination and never get your novel finished. So let me go deeper into what is actually happening in the brain when we procrastinate. Let's start with the proof that procrastination has been around forever. The Greek poet Hesiod, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but he was writing around 800 BC, and he cautioned this: not to put your work off until tomorrow and the day after. I mean, think about that. That's 2,800 years ago. A poet was already warning people about the exact thing that a lot of people struggle with today, which is procrastination. The Roman consul Cicero called procrastination hateful, and in the 1500s, during China's Ming Dynasty, the poet and painter Wen Jia wrote his poem of today as a desperate warning to procrastinators. It says in part, "Today follows today, how few todays one has. If he doesn't do today, when can it be done?" The word procrastination itself comes from the Latin root procrastinare, which means to put off until tomorrow. But it also shares roots with the Greek term akrasia, which means acting against one's better judgment. So this has been plaguing us probably since humans have been around, especially since they've been trying to start writing. And for decades, scientists have been researching it. And they, early on, perpetuated this same myth that might be haunting you right now, that procrastinators are simply slackers who lack willpower. And the solution seemed obvious. Just toughen up, force yourself to be more disciplined, push through the resistance, and make yourself do it. That can often backfire when it comes to writing. You may have experienced that. Trying to make yourself write usually doesn't work very well because it doesn't tap into the type of mental processes that we need to be able to create. So for a long time, we were just stuck. This was the only thing that science is telling us. But then, over the decades, research found something new. They discovered that procrastination, chronic procrastination, which means procrastinating throughout your life, affects about 20% of the population. That's 1 in 5 people. That's a lot. And so are we really supposed to believe that 20% of humans are just fundamentally lazy or undisciplined? I guess we could. But it's interesting because this line of research has kind of followed the same pattern that the line of research on being overweight did. For a long time, we were told that if you were overweight, it just meant that you lacked willpower to push yourself away from the table. And for a long time, that's what we were all led to believe. It was just a lack of willpower, meant you didn't have enough discipline. If you just put down the food, then you would be fine. Well, then, in more recent decades, scientists figured out that, wait a minute, it's a lot more complex than that. It has to do with neurotransmitters. What kind of neurotransmitters are going on in your brain? It has to do with how much sleep you're getting. It has to do with your genetics. It has to do with how your body operates even when you do exercise. Suddenly there came in all these other factors that could lead to someone being overweight. That had nothing to do with discipline or willpower. So as we've discovered this about the issue of overweight, then we've come up with new solutions to being overweight that apply to different people depending on their circumstance. The same thing has happened with procrastination. Now we understand that procrastination can also be tied into several different factors. There's a difference, for example, between chronic procrastination and occasional procrastination. I mean, most of us put things off sometimes. I think most people procrastinate on doing their taxes, or maybe you procrastinate on doing the dishes until you don't have any clean dishes left. There's several things that we don't really like to do that we might procrastinate on. That would be occasional procrastination. But then there's chronic procrastination, a type of procrastination that affects us all the time. But then there's chronic procrastination that may affect your entire life, and chronic procrastination that may affect only one part of your life. So you may have trouble with procrastination in all areas of your life, at work, at home, with your family, with things you want to do, everything. But you may also just have trouble with procrastination when it comes to your writing. This is very common. You get everything else done in your life, but the writing doesn't get done because you procrastinate on this area of your life. And there are certain reasons for that. And the reasons vary depending on the person. So what's really happening with procrastination? First, there may be a biological component to procrastination. Do you get to blame your parents for this? Well, I wouldn't go that far. But studies suggest that certain brain functions that contribute to procrastination, things like attention deficit, executive dysfunction, depression, chronic stress, that these could be related to your genes. The good news is that the brain is far more flexible than was once believed, which means that this biological connection doesn't doom you to procrastinating for the rest of your life. It just helps explain a little bit about where it may be coming from. Second, research has found that many people who procrastinate have a skewed relationship to time. Now, this is fascinating. One study found that procrastinators often feel disconnected from their future selves. So they compared people who procrastinate and people who don't. And they found that oftentimes the people who didn't procrastinate really could visualize their future selves very clearly. They could see, if I don't do this today, the person I am tomorrow is going to be overloaded with having to do this plus everything else that they have to do. Whereas the people who procrastinated didn't have that kind of relationship to their future selves. They found out through testing that they actually saw their future self as a stranger. They couldn't relate to that person. So no wonder it's easy to pawn off whatever it is on the future self because, it doesn't seem to have any connection to me. Now, the good news is there's something to do for those people too that helps them to solve that problem. Third, science has found that anxiety can play a big role in procrastination. Maybe some people are more prone to anxiety, which means they're more prone to self-doubt and fear, which is going to make them more likely to procrastinate, particularly on something like writing their novel. And unfortunately, of course, the vicious part is that the more you procrastinate on that novel, the more your anxiety tends to increase, because now not only are you afraid you may not write the best novel you want to write, but now you've got this anxiety that you've got this thing hanging over your head that you're not doing, so it's this destructive cycle. In a 2024 study of university students, researchers found that procrastination actually led to depression and anxiety over time. So people who procrastinate for this reason are not only not getting their stories done, but they're actually making the emotional burden they're carrying even heavier. So these are just a few of the things that I found in my research, and I explain all of my research in my brand new book, Escape the Writer's Web, which can help you overcome procrastination. But the real tragedy here isn't just the unfinished novels or just the unfulfilled dreams, though that's heavy enough. Research shows that procrastination in general destroys your quality of life. In a 2023 study of over 3,500 students, researchers found that procrastination was associated with worse mental health, physical pain, unhealthy lifestyle habits, increased loneliness, and greater economic difficulties. I mean, just let that set in for a minute, that list. That's huge. That's a huge negative effect on your life. Not only your writing life, but your life in general. And then German researchers studying over 2,500 people across all ages found that procrastination was linked with higher stress, depression, anxiety, fatigue, and reduced satisfaction with life as a whole. Some studies on procrastination have even found that it can increase the risk of heart disease. I mean, who would have known that? So this habit isn't just this little annoying habit. It's huge in our lives, really huge in our writing lives, but huge in our lives in general. When it comes to your creative work, no one else is usually there to hold you accountable. I mean, at work, your boss helps make sure you get your work done. Family and friends provide accountability for your home life. But your writing, your book, that's usually all up to you. Now, the world isn't going to end if you don't finish your book. So the urgency may feel absent to you. Life can go on as usual. You can keep putting off your writing without any serious consequences to your life, you think. But what about your inner world? What about how you see yourself? What about who you're becoming? These are huge things in your life too. And these are the things that procrastination can actually steal from you. So here's your mission of the week, should you choose to accept it. This week, notice the exact moment when you feel the urge to procrastinate, and then pause and ask yourself this question. What is my brain trying to protect me from right now? And then write down the answer, no matter how small or silly it seems. Just become aware of that, so you can start being alert to when procrastination shows up and start putting on your detective hat to figure out why. Next, I'd like to invite you to Escape the Writer's Web, my intensive one-day workshop where we identify your unique procrastination type and help build your personal anti-procrastination blueprint in real time. This workshop has limited seating, so if you're ready to stop letting this ancient curse steal your creative future, you want to get on the wait list now. Just click on the link below. And here's something I'm thrilled to share. My new book will be releasing soon, and it's available for pre-order now. It contains everything I've learned from years of research and working with hundreds of writers. You can check out the pre-order at the link below, or if you want to be the first to know when it's available, make sure you're on my email list. The book comes with an accompanying workbook that you can also get that will help you work through your unique solutions in your own best time. If you found value in this video, please hit the like button and subscribe, and check out my previous video on procrastination, and I will continue to talk about how you can break the procrastination curse in future videos, so stay tuned to this playlist. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.